All right, and we are back for the first time since the montage like regularly, but for the first time in a few months. I think the last video I made was about Septile getting into Smash. I'm pretty sure that's what it was, but we're back. And today so I mean, like, I don't have much of a fan base, which is why I'm not making it a big deal. I only have like 22 subscribers or whatever. Anyway, I want today's video to be about some Fighter Pass 2 candidates. And you're going to see some of the options on who I want to talk about. I'm not going to make any predictions, okay? These are all just candidates of people that or characters that I think have a shot, but don't necessarily it's not necessarily my prediction because I want more than 3 fighters to get in, you know? And Sephiroth's reveal, at first, I was pretty upset about it. I wasn't upset, I was just kinda like, "Wow, so that's our square rep for this pass, isn't it?" And then I was like, "Okay, well, Gino's not fully deconfirmed." And then I watched the Sephiroth presentation yesterday, and then I saw Gino as a regular Mii costume, not a Sans type Mii costume. Or as I call him, a premium costume, and I'm like, well, now he's deconfirmed. The only way Gino can get into Smash as a fighter now is if Sakurai deconfirms Mii fighters to be reserved for only Mii costumes, which I doubt he'll do. It's always a possibility, but we don't want to get our hopes up. Let's just get on with the candidates. Also, Sora is deconfirmed too. I don't see it being possible. With Disney and all that. I've already talked about it before, though. We'll just move on. Anyway, first one's Crash Bandicoot. Now, this character is an icon. He's the icon of Sony and all of the PlayStation consoles. A great affiliation with Nintendo, like Activision and stuff. Um, Getting the Insane trilogy onto the Switch, and most likely Crash 4 at some point down the line. Crash Bandicoot, he's an iconic character. To have somebody like Minecraft Steve, but not Crash Bandicoot, that's like saying you have Sonic in Smash, but no Mario. Like, it coincides, if you know what I mean. So, Crash Bandicoot is definitely part of the last 3. That's like a prediction, but again, these are all just my thoughts on how each of the requested and some out there characters on what I think their chances are. So I think Crash Bandicoot has very high chances of getting in, whether it be the next fighter or the last fighter. Well, last fighter is kind of pushing it, but anyway. Moving on to Ryu Hayabusa. This guy's a bit more complex. Tecmo owns Ninja Gaiden, but Ryu Hayabusa has been on Nintendo consoles since its first ever console. Ninja Gaiden, the original game, came out with it. So obviously, Tecmo has had a very long term relationship with Nintendo, and they still continue to this day. I'm pretty sure that some of their games still come onto Nintendo consoles. I'm pretty sure. So Ryu Hayabusa, that's a pretty good chance, but I think that if it's not this game, it'll definitely be next game. Like, I would not be surprised if he's not in the past, but I'd be very happy if he was in this past, even though we already have Sheik, you know, as our ninja-esque character. Um, so yeah, Ryu Hayabusa is definitely a good chance, but I wouldn't be betting money on it, if you know what I mean. Like, there are plenty of other characters who have a lot more potential than Ryu Hayabusa for a good moveset and actually make them balanced. And by the way, speaking of Sephiroth, before we move on to Doomslayer, I love Sephiroth. Like, I've fallen in love with his moveset and the way that he plays. I just love the feel of it. So I mean, hey, if anybody wants to challenge me, let me know, and I'll set up a little private arena, and me and you can duke it out, and I'll show you my Sephiroth or whatever, and you guys can kick my ass because you guys are probably gonna be better than me. Anyway, Doomslayer, pretty good chances as well. I wouldn't. It's not like Crash Bandicoot style chances. But Bethesda has already shown some sort of affiliation with Nintendo, because I'm pretty sure Fallout Shelter is made by Bethesda. I'm pretty sure it's a spin-off of Fallout. Um, so Bethesda definitely has some sort of cooperation things with Nintendo, along with the release of Doom Eternal that just came out on the Switch recently. I think on the 4th or something like that. Excuse me. Yeah, I think Doomslayer has a pretty good chance. Again, kind of like Ryu, but not as much. I wouldn't be betting money on him being included, but if he does get included, a lot of fans will be happy. You will get our first person rep, and then it'll probably deconfirm Master Chief, which I'll get to in a minute, by the way. A Gen 8 Pokemon. The reason why I have Cinderace here, even though I don't want him at all, we already have Incineroar, it's not going to work, is because Render's SSBU made Crash and Doomslayer, and I'll probably have to reference them and leave their Twitter in the description box below. You guys can go check out all the renders down there. So I think that a Gen 8 Pokemon is basically a lock-in at this point, kind of like Crash. Like if you don't have a Gen 8 Pokemon in Crash Bandicoot, then why do we still have this pass? You could have Cinderace, but I think Rillaboom, if any starter would get in. But a fan favorite like Toxtricity or a recently released legendary like Urshifu could bring like stance changes as their mechanic by like pressing a button or something, like maybe like down B, and then like Toxtricity. Their final smash could be like Gigantamax. Same thing with Urshifu. Cinderace, again, I'm just putting him there because of Render's SSBU and just representing Gen 8. In case you guys don't recognize Urshifu or Toxtricity. And Toxtricity could also bring in sound-based moves, which I don't think anybody else has done. Closest to that is DK's Final Smash and Brawl in Smash 4. So if Gen 8 Pokemon and Crash are not in this Fighter Pass, what's even going on anymore, you know? Dr. Eggman. Now, here's this theory. I think that since Sephiroth has been revealed, Dr. Eggman's chances of getting in have raised exponentially. Not because Sephiroth is our first third-party villain, I'm pretty sure. Is our first third-party villain that we have gotten. So, and it's also from Final Fantasy, and that's before Sega. So, I mean, we don't have a Sega rep for this pass. We have an Atlas Sega rep from last pass being in Joker. But Dr. Eggman's chances have raised pretty well. Like a lot of people are saying, yeah, Dr. Eggman is gonna be coming in this pass if we're gonna get Sephiroth. Like nobody expected Sephiroth. Nobody's going to expect Dr. Eggman, you know? So I think he has a pretty good chance as well. I'm not gonna make it a lock-in like Crash and the Gen 8 Pokemon, right? I'm not gonna lock it in because there's always a chance we could get Tails instead. And if we get Tails, hey, being a diehard Sonic fan, I'd be happy with either one, Tails or Eggman. I don't care. But the bottom line is, Dr. Eggman over here has a pretty good chance. Tails has less of a chance now than he did before. Who knows? We could get a completely different Sega rep, but I'm pretty sure that if we do get a Sega rep in this pass, it's going to be either Dr. Eggman or Tails, for sure. It has to be a Sonic character. It would be Shadow if he was not an assist trophy. And also, apparently, he'd be too similar to Sonic to even be his own fighter. Apparently. Anyways, moving on to Dante. We have not seen a single Capcom rep for the entirety of Smash Ultimate's DLC. I think that if Dante gets in, I would not be surprised in the slightest. And I also would be surprised if he didn't get in. It's just kind of one of those situations where it's like, okay, well, Dante's not getting this pass. I'm not surprised. Oh, Dante is in this pass? Well, I'm not surprised either. It's kind of one of those situations, he wields a gun, he wields a sword, he'd be a very unique character. He could have like a jab where it's like pretty ranged, but not like Sephiroth range, like slash with a sword, shoot his gun, and then slash down again or whatever. I don't know, but anywho, I think Dante has a pretty decent chance, but I think Crash and Jenny Pokemon, it's got to happen eventually. Lloyd Irving. This is another Square rep. I don't because Gino is deconfirmed. I don't see Square wanting to get a third fighter in Special Ultimate DLC because they have Hero, they have Sephiroth. I don't see them wanting Lloyd. And if they were to have a third rep, I'm pretty sure it'd be the last fighter as well. So it's not Gino, so it's got to be someone. It's got to be nobody. It's got to be someone who's not Square, right? Who's like a banger. Like if you're not gonna have a bonus fighter at the end of this pass, kind of like Piranha Plant, then you got to end off this pass with a bang. You really do. Like you have to. If you don't, that's completely underwhelming. Well, what was the wait even for Challenge Pack 11? A weird number to end off of. I'll get back to that in a minute. But yeah, Lloyd Irving, very slim, but I thought I'd be a bit, charismatic for all you Tales of Symphonia fans or whatever the fuck this game's called. Master Chief. Now, because we have Steve, Master Chief's chances have dwindled exponentially. And I think that if we were to get a first person shooter character, it'd be Doomslayer all the way over here. Because look, like he has more variety, there are no Halo games on the Switch. And I just think that Master Chief has a really slim chance now. Not as much as Lloyd, but still a pretty low chance since we got the reveal of Steve, which I prefer Steve over Master. Actually, Steve's hard to play for me, so Master Chief I kind of prefer. I don't really know how I'd play though. That's the thing. Anyway, moving on to Bandana Waddle Dee. So we do need a fourth Kirby rep. Since Bandana Waddle Dee is basically the confirmed player for all Kirby games, I think that if he's not going to be in this game, he's definitely going to be in the next game, whenever that is. Because he's becoming a bit of an iconic character, just a little bit, for all the Kirby fans who found Smash to be a game that's missing a Kirby character, being Bandana Waddle Dee. But I do see his chances being pretty good if there's some sort of fighter who can influence it towards it. And the only one I can think of from this past is Min Min, but that was back in June. And since then, we've only gotten third parties from Microsoft and Square Enix. So, unless you get another Nintendo character like Bandana Waddle Dee or a Gen 8 Pokemon, Bandana Waddle Dee, I'm sorry, but I don't think you're going to be able to make it in this pass, unfortunately. However, I would love to see how you'd play. Would it be if it's any similar to like Smash Slash 2? Wonderful. Shantae. So far, in terms of indie characters, Sans, Cuphead, and Vault Boy, I'm pretty sure that's also an indie game, and Bomberman, I'm pretty sure is also indie. Are all Mii costumes, premium to be exact. So if Shantae gets in as a Mii costume, I would not be surprised. So her chances of being a fighter could upgrade indie characters in the future to become fighters, which we already know that Sans and maybe Cuphead are going to be fighters in the next game, regardless, and it's going to be amazing. It's going to give me revolutional, But Shantae's chances right now are pretty low, so let's just move on. Because I see her being more of a Mii costume than a fighter right now. And all you old timer fans, your long term fans, saw this coming. Waluigi is my last fighter because we have Challenger Pack 11, which is a really weird number to end it on. And I would not be surprised if Paper Mario got in over Waluigi. But if we got Waluigi as the last character in the past or as a bonus fighter, it'd be a great way to end off the DLC since Gino's been deconfirmed. essentially. Like I said, if Sakurai deconfirms me costumes to be a lock-in as a deconfirm, then Gino is on the table again. But until then, Waluigi is where I stand right now. In terms of out there fighters, we have Waluigi, and then we have uh, Lloyd is another out there, and Tails, probably Tails. Yeah, yeah, Waluigi, like. You can't I think the reason I've actually come to notice this over the past few months that I've been away, living life. It's because I think because Wario represents the WarioWare games. He represents his own games. Waluigi does not appear in the WarioWare games, therefore he cannot represent WarioWare along with Wario. He would have to represent Super Mario with Mario, Luigi, Peach, Daisy, Rosalina, Bowser Jr., Bowser, Dr. Mario, and Piranha Plant, right? Which would be kind of weird because Wario is the outcast. But very hardcore Nintendo fans would know that. But newcomers who aren't really too familiar with lots of Nintendo games would be kind of like, what? Why is Wario down here? Why is Wario from a different franchise? Shouldn't he be, up there with Mario and Luigi and them? I think that's the reason that Sakurai's been kind of neglecting the inclusion of Waluigi. If I even use that word right, but his chances, Waluigi's chances, now that Gino's been deconfirmed, are still pretty slim. We could get Paper Mario instead. And if we get Paper Mario, he's basically just gonna be a Game and Watch because he's 2D, but more Paper Mario moveset, right? But then we have two 2D fighters that wouldn't really coincide, unless you don't have Game and Watch in the next Smash game. Paper Mario kind of cancels out the whole uniqueness of Game and Watch. So that's why I think Waluigi. If we're gonna get any sort of Mario character, it's gonna be Waluigi, for sure. You know, I'm a huge Waluigi fan. I play him in all of the spin-off games for the most part. Sometimes I'll go with other characters like Shy Guy and shit. But anyway, so those are my candidates. If you guys enjoy this video, leave a like. And every Monday will be the day I'll try and post my weekly montages. By the way, I know the clips aren't very good necessarily. They aren't stylish combos, but I like them, and if you don't like them, that's your problem, okay? That'll be your problem to deal with in the future, okay? I'm just saying that right now. All right, well, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Again, if you enjoyed it, leave a like, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.